What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the big thing. It's Capes and Cowls. A lot of stuff in the news in the world of comic book movies, man, and TV shows. Echo's right around the corner. It's coming out soon. Is it a problem that the embargo is dropping like a day before? And social embargo, too? It always makes me nervous. I don't know how my co-hosts feel about it. We might have a new Kang. Rumors are spiking up. But what we don't have is a Stephen Yeun. He's gone. He left. No more Marvel for him. What does that mean? We'll talk about that. Speaking of Echo, there's some cameos that they say might happen in the show. Is that to try to get people to watch it? I don't know. So we don't want you to take a poop. We want you to hit that subscribe button. So do it. Hit the subscribe button. Trying to get to 200,000. We can do it, and you guys can get us there. We are at 112 right now. And if we can get to 200, it's because you guys are part of the conversation. We're on Apple Podcasts. We're on Spotify. We're everywhere the podcasts are found. Patreon also. If you want to join on Patreon, we have a lot of great things going on over there. All right. It is Capes and Cowls. It's me. It's Winston. It's Coy. Let's do it. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Capes and Cowls. Kristian Harloff. Coy Jandreau. Winston A. Marshall. We're here, guys. Nice to have you all.
Happy New Year, hoes.
Yeah, for real. That's what my mom said to me, too.
That's how she signs having your host.
I said, Mom, are you saying, you call me a hoe? She said, no, Santa Claus. Ho, ho, ho.
I'm so glad we can pseudo cuss now.
We can?
We can?
Oh, I didn't know that.
Pseudo.
Oh, okay.
We've been saying like the S word every now and again, and I just call everybody a hoe.
Ho.
I feel like ho in the first few minutes is fine.
Yeah.
Right?
Ho, ho, ho.
YouTube, let us know.
Okay. That was for Santa. That's all that was.
It's the season.
I went like this.
It is New Year's, isn't it?
I don't know. Who knows? Who cares? We got a lot of stuff to talk about, guys. Let's just jump into this rumor, because there was a rumor. Well, first of all, how was your Christmases? And you don't do Christmas until next week.
Yeah, I do it next week. I did a Zoom Christmas. We wait till January because it's hella cheaper, like flights and like presents and stuff. We do because we're not like Jesus people.
So so like all facets of your life, you're always late.
Yeah. 11:01 today. 11:01.
No.
Excuse me, 11:02. 11:02. See, I will correct myself. I texted at 11:01. I was sat at 11:02.
Revisionist history.
I'm here at 11:02 sat. No, we do Christmas January because my mom runs a movie theater, so Christmas Day is always bumping.
Fair.
And then we save like $600
Not this
on
year,
flights.
was it?
No, it was not. Well, look what was playing. Like Wonka versus Aquaman.
It's one of our stories today, too. There's some records that are being set.
I think it's because I saw you guys after Christmas before New Year's. I feel like I've seen you. Like you're the only people I saw in that week.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's true because
we did a show. So you kept saying this. I was like, I think I've seen you all.
But like it was last year. So there was something about it where it feels like that was weeks ago.
Time is disorienting
but it was
right now.
literally a week. But because that weird, once you hit Christmas, I saw a meme that was like from December 1st to December like 25th. It's like, oh man, holiday season, blah, blah, blah. December 26th through January 1st, like what fucking day is it?
And the
like,
first being on a Monday was really weird because some people started like emailing me and I was like, it's the first. Do not do this.
I actually loved it because of YouTube stats.
Yeah.
It's like, it starts on the first. And it's like, okay, now I can just organize. Yeah, you got 31 days. You just like, let's go.
That's true. I started filming and editing. I'm actually using my channel for the first time. I did like a top list, and editing is hard. I commend you. But yeah, it's dude. I hate editing so much.
I literally did a recap. I think I told you I was doing a recap of for
Your
Breakfast
show,
AM News so all like these jokes and stuff for stuff I didn't get to do earlier in the year or wrapping up stuff. My God, it's so much worse when you have to do so much. Yeah. Like, it's one thing when it's like a 2-minute video. It's another when it's like a solid 10.
Let me play the violin.
Everybody's like, why don't you do your own channel? Because of this. Because we hate it.
Nobody told you to have a computer that takes 5 hours to edit everything.
I don't have.
No, this thing's beautiful. Look at this.
And I actually, the editing was never a problem as far as editing. It was going through the OBS.
Input. It was getting things into the computer.
Don't have that problem.
Set up now.
All right, and you guys don't have that problem anymore because now you can watch this without any glitch or LaRousse.
It looks great too. I looked at the footage from last week.
It looks good, right?
It's such a different. Like I didn't realize the actual where it was storing it was causing so much of a difference in video quality. I thought it was in the cameras.
Well,
no.
The settings were the settings were turned down because of that, right?
What do you mean? No, for the computer. The computer just was an older computer, just couldn't handle the
picture quality
power of it.
Game changer.
Yeah, but now this is a much better.
We're on Blu-ray now.
Yeah. I know.
Not anymore. Those are gone.
The only thing I got to fix is What?
Yeah, that's a story. Best Buy.
Best
Pulling
Buy's
everything.
done, and that's the beginning of the end.
Let's stay on target here.
Stay on target.
It's going well.
First story. So there's a rumor that was going around over the last week or so, and Comic Book Movie is covering it. Josh Wilding. Rumor has it that Euphoria, Color of Purple star Coleman Domingo is being lined up to take over the role of Kang in the MCU. Now, there's also a 2022 interview that has resurfaced in which he has expressed interest in playing a Marvel villain. Earlier this week, a rumor found its way online suggesting that Fear the Walking Dead star Coleman Domingo is the frontrunner to replace Jonathan Majors as Kang the Conqueror. The Loki star was fired from the role after being found guilty on the count of intentional assault in the 3rd degree and aggravated harassment in the 2nd degree by a New York jury. Now, a resurfaced interview from 2022 has gone viral in which Domingo expressed his desire to play a villain in the MCU. He says, "When it comes to Marvel and DC, I think I'm ready now. I'm worked out, fit. I think I want to play a villain. I just want to be the villain. I don't want to be the good guy. I actually want to do some really nasty, dirty work." This must have been before he did Color Purple. The response,
right by me.
yeah, the response to Domingo potentially playing Kang has been overwhelmingly positive. If Marvel Studios is truly committed to the villain being this saga's big bad, then it's hard to think of anyone better to pit Earth's mightiest heroes against in Avengers 5 and Avengers Secret Wars. Okay. So let's start off with the first part is, Winston, how true do you think this actually is?
That he might be taking over?
Yeah.
You know, it's interesting because there's been a lot of back and forth because you have seen people really complain about Kang. You know what I mean? And it feels like I personally do not want to walk away from it because Kang, as I know him throughout all of, publication and whatnot, is actually incredibly fascinating and has some of the most interesting storylines. The only other villain is Doom, but I'm not trying to shoehorn Doom in because this didn't work. I want that to be its own thing. And if if he comes in by way of whatever plan they had, that's fine. If you just need to do cleanup, then do cleanup. And I don't hate this casting if that's the route that you're going. There's a number of actors who I think could do a really great job, and Coleman Domingo I think is great. So I think this is true. I think about it the same way I did about every Mr. Fantastic casting, every Doctor Doom casting, every Wolverine casting. Cool. Thanks for the rumor. Don't care until you have some real news.
Sure. This one, though, has to move faster, though,
of
than
course.
most, because if they're
You got to get back to work.
If they're going to do it and they're going to continue it, they got to let people know. They got to know, because what I think, Coy, I think that, that Variety article that you love so much. But inside of that article, they did say that there was this meeting that happened. We all agree that that meeting definitely happened. I mean, Kevin Feige says as much that meeting has happened. I think inside of that meeting, this conversation was definitely brought up. And I think that what they also probably said within that was, okay, so let's say we have to let Jonathan Majors go. We keep Kang, we recast Kang because we're going to go down this road with Kang that ultimately gets us to here. Because even that one rumor that was going on about the screenwriter that said he was leaving at one point because they were focusing on Kang and then he was going to leave, but then that rumor was debunked. That they said they're sticking with Kang. And like, well, what are they going to do?
And then the director left. I feel like nobody's talking about that.
We talk about all this stuff.
Yeah,
all this stuff. But the question is, I think that this is where, I think you said it too, where the smoke, there's fire, right?
Yeah. And I think the meeting happened, obviously. They do every year, they meet. And I think they had contingency plans. I don't know how likely it is they will keep Kang this early, like as in the next movie, the next big movie. You've got 3 movies leading up to Kang Dynasty, if you don't count Deadpool. So you've got a lot of work to do replanting this seed. I could see Kang coming back in Secret Wars. I could see Kang not coming back at all, but I don't know if it's likely to have Avengers 5 be Kang Dynasty anymore. I don't know if it makes sense to... You've kind of wrapped his story up in Loki. If you're going to introduce Kang again, do you introduce him in a post-credit scene in Cap 4? Do you introduce him in something leading up to Kang Dynasty? You just bring him back? I don't think you bring him back as a new actor in Kang Dynasty. That seems very short-sighted. So
where would you bring him back?
But
post-credit scene somewhere.
But you kind of did that with Brolin. Like he had
introduced throughout.
He got no, because remember you had the old dude that originally who never ended up playing the part. You had Brolin make a very small appearance in Guardians just to kind of set up Ronan being like, "F you, Thanos, I'm doing my thing." But then otherwise, you pretty much did not get Thanos until Infinity War.
But it was through multiple appearances in
Sure.
small doses. I'm worried that they won't do any small doses. Then suddenly be like, hey, I'm the new guy. That's my concern. I'm saying you need at least some post-credit scenes, at least some setup leading to.
I would assume so.
But that had to be now.
They
So
have
this
to
would
be.
have to be a decision already made that we're just pretending to not know.
So like Deadpool or something.
Deadpool is shooting. That could work.
You could shoot, but you could also do a reshoot,
post-credit scene at the premiere, like they did with Avengers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I also think will probably happen, and they don't, maybe in the same way that you just kind of had Deadpool kill Deadpool off screen at the end of Deadpool 2. You could have a situation where it's like, if you even want to explain away the casting or whatever,
Deadpool's the perfect place to do it.
Since Deadpool is already supposedly killing the Marvel Universe, be like, oh, I don't think I killed him, but he looks little
different.
weird.
Yeah.
Like some stupid.
But they don't even have to necessarily do that because of the multiverse.
Of course.
You know what I mean? You could just, because the audience at this point, the audience that really knows,
Sure.
the audience that really knows about everything going on, they're going to go, oh, okay. In the same way that, like, look, there have been casting before that someone couldn't play the role. They played it again, and at first you go, that's weird. And then you go, oh, it depends on how low.
As long as they're good.
Don Cheadle, guys.
Yeah,
And
it's a perfect example.
You know, so Don Cheadle is someone at first you look and you go, oh, okay, Don Cheadle's not Terrence Howard, but that's fine. It's Don Cheadle. And so Domingo Coleman, another reason why I think that it is absolutely going to happen is because Disney is very predictable and Marvel and Lucasfilm are very predictable and who's hot right now.
Right, and there's a lot of buzz around him right now.
Right.
I have heard this guy's name more in the last 2 months than I had in the years prior.
He's got that one movie, I can't remember the name of it, that came out that was getting buzz on Oscar stuff. And then you have The Color Purple that he did as well, too. He's really good in that. So he is a big, he's one of those names inside. People are going, who's the next guy? He's the next guy.
I think Majors is more associated with Kang than Howard ever was with War Machine or anything, though. I do think there is an element.
100%.
And I think there's something they're going to have to fight against is like how specific the different versions of Kang were to Majors' performance. He wasn't just going through the motions. He was doing incredible work in different ways.
Yeah.
I think that's going to be hard for him.
However, Ant-Man Quantumania,
Yeah.
not beloved and did okay.
Sure.
Iron
on
Man
TV.
1 was massive.
Sure, that's huge.
Loki's
That's a
on
good point.
TV. So it's like and I'm talking mainstream. I'm not talking about through the audience. The mainstream media, even if you saw Quantum Mania, it was in here and then it was right out.
If they're coming as the sequel to Quantumania, because it's just a movie audience, they're
Right.
in better shape than they are if you actually are invested in the character.
That's what it is. What do you think?
I mean, yeah, I'm on the same page. I guess the only reason why I feel like maybe you explain it one way or the other is because, and you, again, I guess you could ignore it, them showing the entire Council of Kang, like the multiversal Kangs, and it literally is infinite Jonathan Majors screaming and acting a goddamn fool. It feels like you kind of have to explain it one way or the other.
I don't know. I don't think you do. I really don't. I think because you can say there's one, it's infinite universes. So all of those Kangs that you saw, there was one of them that didn't look like him. There's one that didn't look like him.
Sure, but that's the thing. That story is not just we're following this one Kang the Conqueror. It really is dealing with all of those Kangs.
I know, but dude, it really the mainstream audience, they're not gonna care. And honestly, we won't either. We'll say one thing. You'll probably bring up a point.
I bitch all the time about Don Cheadle and Terrence Howard.
But I'm saying you'll bring up one point about you're like, okay, they didn't really cover that much, and they didn't really explain it, and that was a bummer. But you know what I really did like? That's what's going to happen.
What I will say is I appreciate that y'all pointed out to me that there was I'm here, it's me, deal with
That
it or
line of
whatever.
dialogue was great.
I never associated that ever. Like it didn't especially. And I think the big difference is when stuff like that happens. A lot of times there's like a kind of a wink nod to the camera or whatever. And that didn't really happen. You just said it as he was walking
moves
in.
along, yeah.
But he's never like directly addressing the audience, which makes sense. It's not the type of format of movie where you break the fourth wall.
No.
But I say all that to say, like, it would have, it's funny. That might have been one of the few things that could have bumped She-Hulk up a little bit, is to have a little tongue-in-cheek about that. As much as she breaks the fourth wall, being like,
Well, they had the Ed Norton line in there, which was great.
what is she? I forget what she said.
When they literally say, like, I'm a totally different guy now. And they look at the camera, and I'm like, they literally are the most aggressive fourth wall break in that one.
Yeah, there was.
But I don't know. It's just one of those things to me. Like, you know what it is? And maybe that's why I got so bent out of shape with Terrence Howard and Don Cheadle. And now I'm going to get bent out of shape about this if they don't address it. is that old adage of not all black guys look alike. And so it's this idea of just, we're just going to be like, oh, you can just interchange them. It doesn't matter.
Here now.
But even one of my favorite movies of all time is Major League. The first one. And then the second one, Wesley Snipes was a big star. He wasn't going to do the second one. They put Omar Epps in it. They never addressed anything. It's Omar Epps is now William H. Hayes. They should have just made a different player.
It should have been a different player altogether. It's such a weird choice to be like, you guys know you can change teammates. Right?
Like, again, I'm fine. Just give me an in-canon anything just to be like, oh, yeah, that's his cousin. That's Willie Mae's babe.
That's Billy Hayes.
Billy Hayes.
Anything. And that would have been great and another great joke. But instead, it's like, you guys know that's Omar Epps, right?
I know. But either way, I do think this is going to happen, to be honest. And it goes back into our conversation that we had last week. And that was, the whole thing with T'Challa and the recasting and everything. And this is different, completely different. But it also is a matter of if they have this story that is crafted out and they actually planned out a whole thing where it is going to be detrimental to them if they don't recast, well, then you got to recast. And this isn't going to be one. I think that there will be, because the internet bitches about everything, so there will be a portion of the internet that'll be like, I can't believe you recast them, blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to see your movie ever again. And they won't see the movie, and then other people will. And the mainstream audience will either go see it because it's a good trailer or they won't. So I don't know. I ask you guys, what do you think? Do you think that Domingo Coleman will be cast as Kang? Do you think they should recast? Do you think they shouldn't? What say you?
My last point on this is the only thing I was trying to make clear in my argument is that if this is the cast, then I think it's already done. That's my point. Is it, like, if all the rumors are true, then this already happened.
I think
it's recast, period, not recasting. If this is true, that's
agreed. And I also think leaks sometimes happen for a reason, and they want to get like the public
consensus
opinion, and the public opinion has been very positive. So I think it's another reason why it's definitely going to go forward. Okay, let's get to the next one. Thunderbolts. Steven Yeun reveals why he dropped out of the movie and he still hopes to play a Marvel character. I haven't read this article, and I'm going to guarantee you it's schedule. Here it is. Josh Wilding, a little over 24 hours after the news broke that he'd pull out of playing the Sentry in the Thunderbolts, Steven Yeun has revealed the reason why and confirms he's still interested in joining the MCU. Earlier this week, a rumor started doing the rounds on X, claiming that Steven Yeun had dropped out of Marvel Studios' upcoming Thunderbolts movie. A few hours later, trades confirmed the actor's departure, citing scheduling issues as the main reason. Variety has now spoken with the Walking Dead alum, leading to Yeun confirming last year's strike played a role in his decision to pass on playing the MCU Sentry. I think for me, time passing and things shifting kind of pulled me out of it, he said. But Jake Schreier, I know, is going to do an incredible job. I want to do a Marvel movie. It took lots of drafts on email to make sure that I conveyed the sincerity of how sorry I was to have to back out. As for which Marvel role he'd like to tackle next, Yeun said, I think it's too early to say that. I probably pissed off too many people leaving, so I'm just going to say thank you for having me. I have some ideas, but I heard if you put it out there, you'll never get it, so I'll just keep it close to my chest. The whole situation is a little strange, and it does sound like the actor pulled out at the last minute. After all, it wasn't that long ago that Robert Kirkman mentioned conversations with Yeun in which he revealed he'd been in for a costume fitting. Was it really a case of scheduling issues, or did the beef star have cold feet about signing several years of his life away to a brand that's been plagued by claims of superhero fatigue? It's also possible he wasn't keen on the latest revisions made to the screenplay. Then again, it may well be that there are other projects which are bigger priority to him. Production has been delayed on Thunderbolts so many times that even the cast is making fun of the situation now. Yeun wanting to move on is not outside the realm of possibility. All right. So I think I might be wrong.
Yeah, it sounds like maybe he's being diplomatic.
Not really. Diplomatic to me would be, scheduling issues. I just couldn't do it. Scheduling. He's like, no, just things were, the strike and time had passed. And without saying it, he's like, and I just felt like I don't want to do it anymore. He's like, because you're not going to piss people off. You're not going to piss people off. He said, I pissed people off by dropping out so early. But he didn't say, I had another priority. I had another thing. For example.
Pull the quote back up again. Am I smoking crack? Did we read the same thing?
I think for me, time passing and things shifting kind of pulled me out of it. Time passing. But I know he's going to do a job. I want to do a Marvel movie. He took a lot of drafts. And then he said, I think it's too early to say that as far as him returning and what role he wants to do. I probably pissed off too many people by leaving.
Wow.
So I don't know what
And
did
he's
you
still,
hear?
I'm saying I want to do a Marvel movie is the diplomatic part I was speaking to, because it doesn't sound like he wants to do a Marvel movie.
He wants to do. I mean, it looks like
The rest of the quote.
Yeah,
He
like
doesn't wanna piss off
that
Disney.
was the diplomatic.
That's what I'm
part
saying
of
is
it.
diplomatic, yeah.
100%. But a real diplomatic moment would have been like, yep. It was scheduling. I had this thing that came up, and the strike pushed everything towards it. That's what I mean. Yes, when I was on the show with Steph the other day, I said that's what it is. It's nothing more than that. It doesn't seem that way. It seems like
It seems like he left,
It
which
seemed
is
like
not
he
what I
was
had
like,
assumed either. This quote says more than I expected.
Yeah, it seems like maybe he was like, this script stinks.
We know
is
they're
this movie
reshooting most of
happening?
it.
I'm gonna be. I mean, when you're involved in it, it does seem like a sinking ship. Like I don't know. I mean, to say that it's dead is silly. With Deadpool and everything else, it could be lifted right back up, and he could be like, and Thunderbolts could come out really good. But it seems like he was like, no, I want out. I don't want to be involved in it. And that total change 180 for me from the other day. I said, no, of course it's scheduling, but it doesn't seem like it. It seems like he wanted out of it.
I mean, now that I took a second to reread that quote, like, yeah, I'm on the same page with you guys. And I'll be honest with you, when I had heard it originally, because I didn't even think scheduling. I genuinely thought, especially because I had seen the rumors about he had been in for the costume fitting and everything, that like he got really massively turned off by it. And my thought immediately went to look at the disarray that the MCU has been in for the last like year and some change. And especially for it to really stumble this year, because you don't count into this Across the Spider-Verse because that's Sony.
Yeah.
Guardians, you kind of can't count that because that's a wrap up. So like the two things that are currently happening,
Guardians didn't even seem like it was connected to the MCU.
it didn't. It didn't really, other than the fact that we're like, we know Gamora died and this is a replacement Gamora. Other than that, like, I mean, you had Quantumania, Loki, and
The Marvels.
And so one of those was good.
And it was on a different
what-
medium.
and
than
what-
most-
and
then What If, which was also good, but really, What If you put in the same category almost as Guardians at this point, now that we've kind of gotten that acknowledgement that like, yeah, it exists within the same verse, but it's kind of its own thing.
We're not going to connect it.
They might now, based off of how things ended, but I doubt they will. So that being said, your two connectors, because Loki, even though also connected, is kind of in its own little island somewhere, sort of, until we know what happens with Kang.
Right.
Your two projects are Quantumania and Marvels, and he's in for a movie, not for a show. So you put both of those things in there, and it's kind of like, do I want to do this? And that's crazy, because that's the complete polar opposite of what this was a couple years ago.
I also think specifically his casting was received really negatively by a lot of
That's
the
also
internet.
true.
And
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
because I mean, Sentry is
Blonde hair, blue eyes.
the Aryan dream. So there's a lot of people that like him for the wrong reasons. So I think there's a lot of kickback for a smaller statured Asian guy playing an Adonis. This guy looks like Fabio.
I see.
So a lot of people were like, why would you cast? And like, if you've seen Beef or anything he's done, he's a super talented actor, but he doesn't read like a stoic Superman.
No.
So I was really curious about the casting, because I was like, okay, I don't love the character of Sentry. I've never been connected to him that much. I was curious because a lot of times the MCU does a really good job of making me see things in the character in a new way that I was
Seems
like,
like kind of like a Homelander look.
Yeah, but I could connect to the character in a new way, and then I can retroactively like the character. So I was like, oh, Steven Yeun's a really talented guy. Maybe they'll show me something in Sentry I don't see. But then when the audience went like, this isn't the Sentry we want, I'm sure Steven Yeun went, okay, I'm not. How do I play the character I was going to do and get the Scarlett Johansson treatment or like recently Brie Larson is like, do you want me to do this? I imagine he was getting the Brie Larson treatment. Yeah,
right.
Like for being a black stormtrooper, which is so silly.
Which is
that people are bitching about.
Right.
It's a faceless just drone. And anyway, I pull the image back up for that you had for the article, and you can see that is Sentry. That right there, you know what I'm saying? The only reason I would have seen them putting Steven Yeun in that role is actually not to be Sentry, is to be Void. So what Sentry has is a split personality thing going on, where all of that goodness that's in him and all of that power, he literally completely flips into complete evil. Like one of the most evil things you've ever seen in your entire life. It pulls fear out of people. Based off of the anger and shit I saw from him in Beef, I could buy him as Void.
Okay.
But I can't buy him as Sentry.
So that's another thing, though, too. And we talked about this kind of, again, with Steph the other day, with the director Chinoy's comments, Abed Chinoy's comments about, Star Wars and everything, too, and just the kind of debate it sparked online again. And I think also actors are getting tired of being in the middle of it.
Yeah, that's what I think. I think he didn't want the Brie Larson lifestyle.
I think they're tired of being in the middle of it. I think that there is the intention of no one disagrees at this table that giving everyone an opportunity and diversity is a good thing. But we've also agreed, all three of us here, many times on this, that you can't force it because it diminishes it.
If you throw in the fact that he literally was just in the middle of a bunch of internet beef because of beef,
right.
I can guarantee
with the writer of beef in this movie too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I think that
what happened with beef?
So one of the actors in Beef,
not actors, one of the showrunners.
No. So one of the actors, it was a friend of Ali Wong and Steven Yeun's. He did like a podcast years ago, and something resurfaced where he said some pretty like heinous stuff that he had said on a podcast, and then he was like, "Oh, I was joking," and blah 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 blah, and all that, and people were like, "No, bro, like you're not. That's not cool. Like you can't, whatever." And when Steven Yeun and Ali Wong then defended him and being like, he's not that guy anymore, whatever. People doubled and tripled down, being like, you guys are disgusting, like how dare you, all that kind of stuff, right? So if you throw that in with, so he doesn't want to go down that path again, and he's again saw the Brie Larson Boyega treatment. He's like, I don't want any of that.
And it is a lifestyle. Like you don't commit to like 2 years of filming like a normal movie. You commit to like one. You have a 10-year maybe contract,
of your life.
But you also have cons the rest of your life and expectations of.
Absolutely.
And I think that like cons are a really beautiful thing. I think that a con culture is the opposite of the internet. It's a celebration versus
You're talking about Comic-Cons,
like but even like regional things and like little appearances. It's the opposite of the internet. It's people going to celebrate stuff instead of this cesspool which is dragging everything down.
But that's the point.
But he didn't get to see that. He only saw the internet side.
But this stuff. When you think about it, it's like when you're a kid, Star Wars and superheroes, it's supposed to be fun. Mm-hmm. It has, and I made this point many times over. For some reason or another, politics back in like 2016, right, really blended into the movie space, very much so. And there's as much you might as well be watching CNN or Fox News when you're talking about some of this stuff sometimes, because it feels like that, and there's this kind of rift in between. And if you're an actor, like, why in the world do I want to be involved with this? Well, here's the money. It's like, yeah, but this guy is in high demand. He's in high demand, so he can say, yeah, you know what, I could take that check for 7 years, but I gotta deal with the mental stuff of every 5 seconds saying I'm not a blonde haired, blue-eyed guy.
Or I could take 3 projects and be done with that money.
I'm done with it.
The fact that he already got the smoke when the casting happened, but the minute he announced the rumor came out that he was out, people were like, well, they should have done it anyway. Why you need an ancient Sentry?
That's what I'm saying.
It instantly went to that. So I do not blame him for backing out.
Of course. I kind of feel for him.
Yeah. And it is a bit of black and white thinking on my part to say, like, it's because of the blonde, blue-eyed character and all that stuff. But that does seem to be the loudest contingent of the people mad at it.
It's certainly part of the soup.
So I'm saying, I'm acknowledging that is probably, it would affect me. If I was an actor cast in a role, I would go like, well, like, you know what I mean?
Right.
Why did all of a sudden I just hear to be or not to be? That is the question, whether it is nobler in the mind to suffer the slings and arrows or
because you just watched What If.
Maybe. But I literally was just thinking about Hamlet, and I guarantee you he was sitting at this house being like, yo, Ma, do I do this?
Right.
And I suffer through the nonsense, or do I, which Hamlet at that time was talking about killing himself.
Yeah.
He's like, do I just kill this project?
Am I out?
And I'm out.
Well, think about it. Again, you're Steven Yeun, you're on this show, Beef, which is super popular. You're getting offers all of the time. You're going to be in the new Bong Joon-ho film. It's called
Mickey 17, the Pattinson movie with that one graphic they show all the time.
But you're going to be in all this stuff, and you probably have now. When you're hot, you ride it, right? You ride the wave, and he's probably like, "Look, I could do this, but I got a lot of offers. I could do other stuff right now.
Yeah,
we have an out because it's been so long. They keep pushing stuff back. The strike gave us an out. Get me out of this thing." And they're like, "You sure?" He's like, "Get me out."
I'm really curious what 2025 looks like for this world, because 2024 is this like, okay, let's take a breath, let's look around. Deadpool's coming out, Joker 2's coming out. Nothing that like ties too deeply. I mean, Deadpool's going to tie deeply, but it doesn't feel like Penguin stuff that feels like it's different.
Yeah.
I'm excited as hell for Penguin, but I'm really curious what it looks like when we come back to this inundation. You know what I mean? Because 2025 is stacked with this stuff.
For everything.
Yeah. Like, what's that going to feel like after a year? Will dust have settled? Will we be like, I want this, I miss it? Will we be like, okay, it's over? So I'm really curious who gets cast, not in the next year, but who gets cast in the next wave after that.
Bro.
Do people want it again?
What if he just shows up in the DCU?
Steven Yeun? Dude, he's talented as hell. I'd be so happy.
Literally, like, just, no, I'm out, bro. And then all of a sudden he'd be like, hey, what's good? I'm robbing bitch.
But maybe it's a better role for what he wants to do. Maybe that's
I think Feige just like throws down a whole truckload of money and then Sentry Cowls.
They're in that whole, I think.
Can you imagine? Uno reverse card.
You still got to hit him with that. Like, you need more of the Chris Hemsworth when I first got into the MCU look.
Yeah, you want that Adonis-y dude. But Henry Cavill, like I'm saying, all the people mad about like him leaving a Superman role.
It's also, I think the thing that's so poignant about, and this is weird because you know that I am the last person to really push any sort of specific, you need to fit the exact T casting. I am very let the best whatever. In this case, the only reason why I think it's so interesting, the thing about Sentry, with him being the picturesque, blonde-haired, blue-eyed, flowing,
the commentary on his inversion,
turn into the darkest thing that exists in the universe.
But that's why I don't think it can be two actors. That's why when
it's this one actor.
No, but that's why when you had said Steven Yeun as one half of it, I was worried because I don't know if that
not what I meant.
Oh, I thought you were saying like they cast him to play.
I meant, if you're looking at it and you're going, I need you to do two things.
Yeah.
I need you to be able to, like, if they go and get a wide receiver for football, and they go, I need you to be able to actually go on the line and catch balls.
I like that he like looked at me and he's like, I'm going to give you a sports metaphor. And I'm like, okay, this is my vague stare. I'm like, yeah, this is going well for you. Yeah, I totally grasp what you're saying. I agree.
All right,
you're explaining like tax code to me.
Let's try this again. let's try this again.
Let's do this one more time.
You get hired to do a job, and then they go, Coy, I'm gonna need you.
2 jobs.
I'm gonna need you to be able to move boxes. I need you to be able to drive a car. And you go, shit, man, I have a bad back. I can't lift the boxes, but I can drive the car, right? In this case, Steven Yeun can definitely drive the car, but he can't lift the boxes. So that's all I'm saying is that he expertly would have played Void just based off of what I've seen him do in that dark, evil sphere.
Yeah.
But I don't necessarily see the Sentry side of it. Like, it just didn't click for me, both in the look and in
look, the other side of this whole thing is that I always use the mainstream audience portion of it, right? Until, like, you clearly, as we were reading this at the top, I didn't know what the whole Sentry was. I don't give a shit who cast the fucking minion in. I don't care. But it's like, I don't care. But clearly, there's a large amount that do, and that can be very loud in your ears when you're someone who just wants to work.
Yeah.
And it's, so I get it. But look, I ask you guys, what do you think about all this? Do you think Steven Yeun left because of scheduling? Do you think he left because of what we were talking about here today? Was it something totally different? What say you? I want to know, what keeps you up in the morning? What keeps you going when you wake up? Do you go, oh my gosh, I need a good cup of coffee? Well, guess what? Trade Coffee. That's for you. I got Trade Coffee, and then you can keep all of your expenses. You can keep everything in lock with Rocket Money. I'll tell you about both of them right now. Hey, Rocket Money. How much do you guys think that you're paying a month on subscriptions? Yeah, that's what I thought. Most people think they're $80, $82. Yeah, right. You're paying closer to around $200. And that is why I use Rocket Money. What is Rocket Money, Kristian? Thank you for asking. I'm going to tell you, me. Rocket Money is a personal finance app that finds and cancels your unwanted subscriptions. It monitors your spending, and it helps you lower your bills. And it's all in one place. It has over 5 million users and counting. Rocket Money has helped save its customers an average of $720 a year and $1 billion in total savings so far. Stop wasting money on things you don't use. Cancel your unwanted subscriptions and manage your money the easy way. Go to rocketmoney.com/thing. That's rocketmoney.com/thing. rocketmoney.com/thing. Trade Coffee, baby. And Trade Coffee is here to help you do more in 2024. You need Trade if you want to hit the ground running with your New Year's goals. Trade is a subscription service that sources the best coffee across the country, and it brings it right to your doorstep. They've built relationships with over 55 local roasters so you can enjoy their craft from the comfort of your own home. There's multiple ways to experience coffee with Trade. You sign up for a subscription or try one of their starter packs today. I love the medium roast, and they sent me the Peixoto from the Brazil brand. Oh my gosh. Oh my God, I love it. I drink it every day, guys. Drink it every day. And I've been talking about trade forever. I've been talking about trade forever. And I'm so glad that they're back. I've been using them forever. And now they're back on the show. I mean, if you were in this studio, every time people walk into this studio, like, it smells wonderful because I always have trade coffee brewing every single time. I love it. I love the smell of it. I love the way it tastes. I love all of it. It's amazing. So jumpstart this year by signing up for a Trade subscription. Right now, Trade is offering a free bag with select subscription plans when you visit drinktrade.com/bigthing. Easy. drinktrade.com/bigthing for a free bag with select subscription plans. drinktrade.com/bigthing. All right. Thank you to our friends over at Rocket Money and Trade Coffee. Two of my faves, man. As I tell you guys all of the time, and I've gotten, and by the way, I want to thank people who I get DM messages and do this, by the way, too. And I do check them. And on my Instagram, people go, hey, guess what? I just signed up to Trade Coffee today. I just signed up for Rocket Money. It really does. It puts a smile on my face because I know you guys are getting good benefits and it helps out this show, too. So let me know. When you sign up, shoot me over a DM and say, hey, I signed up today. And thanks for giving me that code. All right, let's move on to the next story. All right, guys. Echo's coming out. It's coming out soon, I think next week. We got the screeners for it. And there was the embargo is like, I don't know, it's like I think like a day or two before it drops, both social media and the review. I think the social media is like 2 days before it drops on Netflix, and then it's like a day before.
Yeah, the full review, I think, is the day before, yeah.
That makes me really nervous. Because normally what happens is, and look, I love this trailer. I loved the trailer. I haven't watched anything else. I know there have been other trailers that have come out. I haven't touched it because I just want to go in and I want to see it. I'm going to watch. I am, by the way, going to do. There's 6 episodes, so I'm going to do all 6. I'm going to do reactions to all of them. And I'll do reviews too. But you guys can watch along with me if you like. I'll have those up as soon as they come out. But when I saw that, because remember, we had a conversation months ago. I had gotten an email from somebody who goes, this Echo show is probably not going to even air.
Oh, I remember that.
And there were conversations.
I remember that.
And then there were reports, because I didn't report on it. And then like a month later, there were like reports on it that actually said the same exact thing as this person said. And then we're like, oh, wow, it's really serious trouble. And then the announcement was like, oh, they're going to drop it all in January, all in one shot. And you're like, that's never happens with Marvel. They don't do the Netflix model. They wait. They want to do the water cooler stuff every week. So maybe they'll drop 2, but they never drop them all. So you're like, uh-oh. And then the trailer drops. And you're like, whoa, where did that come from?
And that was part of the, like, Marvel's dead, Marvel's back, Marvel's dead, like, swing.
Yes.
And Echo was on the Marvel's alive conversation, surprising all of us by how much, like, universally, I think everybody loved that trailer. Mm-hmm. This goes back to the, like, okay, the concern is set back in.
I'm concerned again because it's like, if they have confidence in this show, if it's as good
as the trailer looks,
why don't you drop it 2 weeks before and get the buzz going on a show that, because before the trailer, not only for all the stuff we just mentioned, who really wanted an Echo show? It was like, she was a cool enough character, but not enough where everybody was like, we need an Echo series. Mm-hmm. It's like no one was saying that. So I was like, and then the reason why they do it has that Netflix feel, that serious feel that Marvel just doesn't have anymore. And it's not this goofy She-Hulk stuff. It's like this really serious, like people are getting blasted in that. You're like, whoa, what is this?
TVMA. It's the first R-rated TV show they've released, and it's on Hulu as well, which is the first.
Right. So why in the world is this embargo? Does that make you nervous?
I'm of 2 minds about it, because I think on one hand, all the TVMA, Hulu simultaneous release, and the trailer is all very positive, and maybe they want to ride that positivity and they're worried about review bombing because it's another, and again, this is conceptual, but the Marvels I didn't enjoy as much as I wanted to, but there was a lot of people that were already mad before it came out that were ready to be mad.
Right.
Whether they liked it or not.
All the time.
And that's going to happen. Maybe they're worried about the same thing with a female-led show with a badass woman, and they're like, we don't want those reviews coming out because of the positivity off the trailer. That's my lemonade from the lemons. My lemons is obviously we were able to cut a great 3 minutes of this, and here you go. And that's my concern. I haven't seen it, but I do think there is a contingent of audiences, like we were talking briefly before we aired, that, you know, the Star Wars conversation has gotten so angry, sight unseen, it's really delicate. So maybe they didn't want to have anyone have the opportunity to say anything because of the subject.
Yeah, but if your show's good, you want buzz.
You do want buzz.
Because the thing is that you don't, because those people are going to, like you said,
no matter what.
They're going to scream no matter what. You want to get it out to people who are passionate about the Marvel stuff and that are looking for a win.
I wish we had it and could talk about it right now.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So, and it's like, if it was great, but if you put that out there and we're the same way that you and I were about the Marvels,
yeah,
they're going to be like, uh-oh. So maybe they hold it. But Winston, what do you think? You think this is an issue or no?
Conventional wisdom says they gave us a little more leash for Secret Invasion, and it completely just ate dog shit.
It's true.
And I think that they are, especially if you're trying to turn a new leaf in the new year.
Their PR is doing a lot of work.
And especially knowing that, like, hey, Deadpool is going to be our only movie outing this year.
Only movie this year.
2 shows.
And
3 animated.
And you know that's also the foray into more serious toned projects and R and mature rated projects. I think you're doing 2 things. I think you're, one, testing the waters, because remember, we started seeing Hulu content appearing on Disney Plus. So you're having this idea of they're already trying to figure out how do they repair the model now, since they've kind of put themselves in a little bit of an issue, where I'm very curious what the Disney Plus subscribers looks like right now, because that may have gone down.
Right.
Especially if you've been having too many people be like, I don't know, man. Like, Star Wars, and you know, and Marvel's been and the kids have other things they can watch on other platforms. Like, maybe we bounce. I think you put all that together, and that a good trailer can make you think that a bad project is a good one. Too many signs point to this is not going to be good.
Right?
More lemonade? I hadn't thought of this till you just said it, but we just had What If come out day. What if there's a bunch of spoilers at the end and they want to keep it under wraps for have it all in one day? This is the first time they've released everything in one day.
Remember, I love
Try to be
I
positive.
love your positivity. The counter to that is they already announced that this is the Spotlight series, so it doesn't really have much to do with MCU anyway.
So that couldn't be it. Yeah, maybe they're playing around with new release models, but yeah, it doesn't bode well for the embargo.
Look,
I don't deny.
I hope it turns out that what the conversation I want to have after we all watch it, I want to be like, why in the world did they release this like 2 weeks ago? This is amazing. This show is awesome. The fact that I also want to hear myself go, why in the world did they dump it all? This is a this is a water cooler show that you should be talking about every week leading into, because if that is the case, that is also a problem that Marvel's going to have, because then it's like the decision making is bad. If the decision making is the show did not come out how we wanted it to, we made a good trailer out of it, dump all of it, let's get to Deadpool. I understand the strategy. Sucks. They're gonna, it's gonna add into all the Marvel's in trouble, and let's just get it out of the way and get to Deadpool. So I get it. What I don't get is it's a good show. Dump it all, run away. Let's get back to goofy, silly jokes.
If they're gonna do that, though, like if it is actually good, I again think this is them trying to see what models work better for them. And it's not that you don't want the water cooler moments, but you're already looking at like what Disney Plus. I just got an email that the Disney Plus Hulu bundle, whatever I have, just went up.
Yeah.
So you're again, how do we deal with this in a way of what about the model needs to change?
Okay, but you're talking about dumping all. That's the one thing, dumping all at once.
Sure.
But it still doesn't answer
the embargo issue.
The embargo question. That's the other.
Well, but that was the one that I had said previously. The fact that the embargo is up, what, tonight?
No, the embargo doesn't go up tonight. The embargo comes out the day before the show comes out.
So I thought the show came out tomorrow, and tomorrow being
week.
today.
Next week.
It's next week.
Next
okay.
week, yeah.
All right.
We got the show today.
No, that I get that. Okay. I'm trying to talk in Friday, not like it's Thursday, but yes, I get you. So I say all that to say is, again, that is a sign that it's bad. But if we're under the guise that maybe that was just a weird thing they did this particular time, then they're just trying to figure it out. On top of the fact that maybe they're trying to specifically figure out, what do we do with stuff that we're not sure about?
Yeah, and maybe because their tone is so different from the other stuff that they did. That's my hope. My hope is that they're just so used to doing this silly cotton candy nonsense they've been doing for the last 2-3 years that they're like, oh, this is our audience isn't gonna like this really serious stuff. Dump it all, and then it turns out It's awesome.
I also
hope
think
that's
you don't
what it
hire
is.
Justin and Aaron for Daredevil unless you're going to go serious. So that's a good sign. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you don't get the guys that did Loki to do that if they're going to go goofy. So I gives me hope they're going to be more Echo trailer tuned since we haven't seen Echo yet.
Yeah. You know what I'm really curious about? As much as we're all probably, because of this, we're all going to watch the first episode today for sure. I can almost see it. What is that text thread between the three of us going to look
After
like?
this conversation, literally,
what's it going to look like? Or is it going to be like, why didn't they release this? Is it going to be like an oof? Is it going to be like, what's it going to be?
What I'm worried about is, remember, they only gave us two episodes or 3 episodes of Secret? It was 4. They gave us
2, wasn't it? Secret.
Great. Oh,
Secret Invasion. I thought it was 2.
2.
Yeah, 2 because I liked the first 2 a lot.
right. I watched it. I was like, yeah, this is 5.
Yeah, I went and interviewed the director and I was like, yo, I love this.
So look at that strategy.
Yeah.
Do that strategy.
Yeah, because I was so excited, and then all of a sudden I was like, wait.
But that also makes me nervous. If they gave you all, if they gave you like,
they gave us 3, not 6. They gave us 3.
Let's give them 2. Give them really 2 good ones.
Yeah.
And let the critics talk about that, and then
for weeks and do interviews
for weeks.
And
because Secret Invasion, it was like 2 or 3 weeks before
the strike.
No, I did. I interviewed the director.
Oh,
It was right before the strike.
It was
the week before the strike.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, because I wouldn't have done an interview. I was like,
You could.
I could have, but I wouldn't have.
Oh no, you couldn't have.
Yeah. But it was still the week before the strike because I remember they were like, "That's why it's early," and I was like, "Okay."
So that's one of the things with
Is it
Echo,
3
so.
or is it 5 episodes or 6? Echo
6.
Is it
I
6?
I'm pretty sure it's 6.
For some reason I thought it was 5.
You might be right, but I thought it was 6.
Okay.
We'll find out soon. Either way, is this an issue or making too big of a deal out of it? Do you think, no, it's January. They're putting the thing out. They have confidence in it. Let's just see. Very curious to hear what the audience says. Make sure that you comment. Sticking with Echo. All right. So look, this actually dropped while we were talking about all this stuff, and we've got a confirmation that it is indeed 5 episodes, not 6. Coy was right on that one. But this is a new teaser that just dropped for Echo. Again, another awesome trailer, but it confirms that the events in Netflix's Daredevil are canon, at least in this series, right? So Marvel Studios has released another teaser promo for Echo, and it appears to leave little doubt that the events of Netflix's Daredevil are canon. Marvel Studios shared the teaser, and Kingpin Returns promo includes footage and dialogue from the first season of Daredevil as black and white flashbacks revisit the harrowing origin of Wilson Fisk. We see the young Kingpin after he killed his father. We get a glimpse of Daredevil in the action. Brad Winterbaum recently suggested that the Netflix show would be canon on the secret timeline, but this appears to be a clear indication that Marvel Studios will be doing more than simply cherry-picking certain plot lines. Now, okay, so I'm so confused in so many different ways now. From everything we just talked about in that conversation, that trailer was amazing. Why in the world wouldn't you?
Looks like a Netflix show.
It looks really good. Why in the world would you not put that out? The other thing is, it is canon. Well, at least the Netflix series is canon to this show,
Right.
because it's a spotlight series.
Yeah.
we don't necessarily, although it is connected to Hawkeye.
Hawkeye directly,
Hawkeye. I
and
was like,
Hawkeye.
wait.
Yeah. So
The crazy tinfoil hat theory. What if they're not sure where they're going with Daredevil and they're trying to see how this does? Like Netflix, I honestly think could be canon going forward, but
it
I think
is. But you're
but-
saying canon to the end, right?
Yeah.
This is where the multiverse is so freaking confusing at this point.
But that actually might be the other thing that's interesting. I know that they reported it's the sacred timeline, but what if what we're actually seeing in that regard is just some other timeline that we're like privy
Yeah,
to?
but the
That's why I think Secret
showrunner,
Wars
but the
should just go,
showrunner of the
whoop.
show said it was the sacred timeline.
He
not
said
them.
it?
Yeah, not them.
Okay, I thought that was just the report of them.
No,
that was the showrunner said that.
I think they should honestly accept that they're disparate timelines and have Secret Wars clean it up so it's not as confusing. But I do think going forward with Daredevil as a season 4 canon is smarter.
I do too.
And
I
make
do
it
too.
their-
Yeah.
Just give me look. Let's go away from all the other stuff that you did in the past. Let's get away. Let's get away from the silly, goofy cotton candy stuff, as I mentioned before. We did it. We had fun with it. It was great. Let's do $80 million, $90 million budget movies, and let's make them hardcore. Let's see if the audience can handle it. Let's try to save some money, but let's also try to give some quality and give it a shot to do something kind of over the top. And if people want to go back and want to watch, well, I want to watch something I want to watch with my kids. Well, we got phase 2 and 3 and 1 and 2, 3 you can watch with your kids. This one's a little bit more. We're going mature with it.
I think you can have a balance of both, like the comics do. I think Daredevil on Netflix wasn't hindering the lighthearted movies. I think as long as it's not too.
I know, but I'm saying just it needs a shift.
No, it definitely needs a shift. But I think you could do like 5 dark to 2 light as opposed to 5 light to 2 dark.
I think I'm just over.
I think you're just but I get it. But I think there's a balance to be had. Right now, there's no balance.
Yeah.
You're just in your sinister face.
He's in his villain era.
It's just I'm bored with it. I'm just bored with it. It's like, and it's not just Marvel. It's like into the DC stuff too. It's like the same stuff over. It's like what besides, like I mentioned a billion times, like Blue Beetle. Like when you actually have the characters,
right?
That's intriguing. Ms. Marvel, the family, the superhero stuff. Yawn. It just doesn't. It's and not because why are you watching superhero movies? Because I want to see something different. I want to see like this kind of stuff is to me is different. Like watching
the Marvels. You said Miss Marvel.
No, Miss Marvel. Miss
You
Marvel.
were bored by the superhero stuff in Miss Marvel?
It was just generic. It was the same stuff. It's like it was her finding her powers, and it was her charm, and it was the family, and it was sitting around the table and learning the culture, and her learning about the bracelet and that kind of stuff that was more fascinating than when it actually the fights. It was like whatever. It's just I've just seen it a million times. It's like we're in this place that we've just seen this stuff so much because it's just been happening.
Stop showing the pearls drop, man. Like we've seen Crime Alley.
Right.
So that's the other thing that I think is very interesting. You mentioning just being bent, like done with certain stuff. So yes, the part of what the DCEU became like a massive problem, and that's why then like a Wonder Woman and a Shazam was a breath of fresh air, was how insanely serious it was all the freaking time.
Yeah.
And if you live in a place where it is light outside 20 hours a day or it's dark outside like 18 hours a day, you are desperate for the sun to go down or for the sun to come up. And you really, what makes us function as humans is being in these places where you get X amount of light, you get X amount of dark. I think we need to find that balance, and we haven't.
So it doesn't feel like New Year's to me because it's still like 50, 70 degrees. LA doesn't have seasons, so it's
just got into our winter.
Yeah, and that's so disorienting. That's why Kristian wants all darkness. Like you've had a lot of fluff. Like you know what I mean? We've had a lot of summer.
It's really, well, but as I keep saying the things that the audience is getting tired of, but just to hammer down the point for people who haven't heard it, is I'm just going to hold everything to the Godzilla -1 standard now.
What a film, man!
Because you can
haven't seen it.
You can make a blockbuster movie and care about the characters, and you can make it serious. You can make and people will still be interested in it, and you don't have to throw in a musical number in the middle of it for God knows why. You can do these things, and you can actually.
That's your standard for evil. Any movie you're like this musical planet.
But I love musicals.
No, I get it. It's just so tonally weird. I get it.
It's like it's one thing when I go to see. Like Mean Girls is a musical on Broadway.
Yeah.
So when they make it the movie, the musical, I'm like, oh, okay, this is just Mean Girls, but this Color Purple, the musical. Okay, I'm in.
Yeah.
I'm in. Hey, this is a superhero movie. Never had a musical ever. They're on a musical singing planet. It's like that stupid. At this point, yeah, it's like that stupid movie I saw, Night Swim. Okay, it literally was Blumhouse sitting around going, hey, we've done everything, and we can make money out of anything. What do you want to do? I got it. What? Let's do a haunted pool movie. What? A haunted pool movie. Wait, but why? Because we can make it for $13 and we'll make $40 million on it. Put it out. That seems like, hey, we've done this. Let's do a musical planet.
What you're missing in that pitch is that they are at the time skinny dipping in a pool while smoking that blunt and going, bro, what if this pool was haunted though? So much
But the difference is inside of that pitch, they said, let's make it for $13, not $250 million. Not know who our audience is, throw in a musical number, cats eating people. Let's do that, and then go, why did it not make money? It's like, so like, stop doing that. Like, give me something different. That's my point. All right, we got to go because Coy was late. So,
I stayed till after. It's 12:05. I even waited 3 extra minutes.
I said an hour and we didn't do it. So thanks for joining us here today on the Coy is Late show. So Winston, where can they find you?
You can find me at the Swaggy Blurred Man. My 2023 wrap up should be out today because this is Friday. So definitely check that out. It'll be on YouTube. YouTube, I'll slow roll it, but then TikTok and Instagram, same thing at the Swaggy Blurred. You can see him out right now.
Coy doesn't get a plug today, so
58 minutes. It's been 58 minutes. What's the Minions sophomores? Oh,
what?
He's broken.
Banana.
Banana was late too.
Yeah. Go ahead.
All right, thank you. Coy Jandreau at YouTube, TikTok. I got my year-end stuff coming up, and Godzilla -1's in my top 5, so check it out if you haven't seen it. That's fair. That's fair. I was 1 minute late too. I was 2 minutes late.
Oh yeah, and I'll do the Echo wrap-up stuff too. I forgot. So come watch me over there when that comes legal.
I love you, but that was terrible. And
All right, thank you for joining us on the show.
Fading out legal is legal.
that was worse than Brett. Thanks for everybody. Thanks for you. Thanks for me. We'll see you later. Bye.
It's legal. It's legal. Oh, would have been like twins.